Coming up in this video, my book of the month for July. Hey everybody, it's Kalymnios here from thethoughtgym.com, here helping you become the superhuman leader I know you can be, giving you everything that you need to take your life to that whole new level. And this week I'm going to share with you, just like every month this year, a book that has inspired me, that has changed me in some way, that has shifted a paradigm. This month, this book is one that I've been wanting to share since the beginning, but I've been a bit reluctant to really share. In fact, it's a book that I very rarely recommend, and the reason is because almost no one that I recommend it to will read it in the way that it's meant to be read. That might sound a bit confusing, but before I release what the book is, I will say that it's probably one of the most powerful books that I've read in terms of shifting my mindset and my mentality. And the only reason that it did that is because I read it exactly as it was intended to be read. So what is this book, this life-changing book? This book that was initially recommended to me by Tony Robbins, and I have to say that other than him, myself, and maybe one other person, a friend's mum, I don't know anyone else that has actually read this book the way that it's meant to be read. And it's a very thin book. You can see it's kind of thin, so you think you could probably get through it in about an hour or two. But actually it takes around 10 months to read it. What is this book? It is this one by Ogmandino. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World. It's pretty old, it's a bit of a classic, it's sold millions of copies. I don't know how many of those millions of copies were actually read. And the reason for why it takes so long is that within this book, I will just say it's a parable, it's a tale. And long story short, someone discovers 10 scrolls, the secret to selling. And this isn't really, in my opinion, a sales book, although it's certainly useful for sales. I'm not in sales, although you could argue we're all selling all the time. I'm selling you on subscribing to my channel and following me on Instagram or whatever it might be. But, you know, we are all in sales, but I'm not really a salesperson. But this is more than about sales. This is about character building. This is truly transformational, truly life-changing. But the reason it takes 10 months is because there are 10 scrolls, there are 10 lessons that need to be learned. And when I read the first one, it said in that first one that the way to read this book, or to read these scrolls, is to read each scroll for 30 days, morning, noon and night. So in the morning when you first get up, you read it, lunchtime you read it, and then in the evening you read it out loud. So you have to do this 3 times a day for 30 days, and then you move on to the next scroll. And the way I read it is I didn't read anything. I just read that first scroll for a month, then the second scroll for a month. I didn't even look at the page to see what the next scroll was because I didn't want to be tempted. And the way I did it at work is that I downloaded from the internet a PDF version of the 10 scrolls. I had a recurring meeting calendar in my Outlook calendar for midday every day that would pop up. I would open up that PDF, I would read the relevant scroll that I was reading that month, and then I would close it. And no one had to know that you were doing this weird stuff. And I kid you not, it really is transformational. I started doing this 5 years ago, and after the first year, what I then did, and what I continue to do, is I just read 1 scroll a day, and I tend to read it just in the morning, maybe in the evening as well, but just in my head, occasionally out loud, but it just kind of reminds you. But that first 10 months, follow it to the letter. And then after that, like anything, you kind of use it or lose it. So continue to use the lessons, continue to pick the book up, have it by the bathroom. You can, you know, read it while you're doing your business, so to speak. So it's going to be quite straightforward, quite easy. But I tell you, if you pick this book up, you read it properly, it will change your outlook, it will change your relationships, it will change everything that's going on in between your 2 ears. Can't recommend it highly enough, but I am reluctant to recommend it because so many people get disheartened. So if you're the kind of person that is going to pick something up and then quit it quite quickly, forget this book. If you're the kind of person that sticks to something as it's meant to be done, and you have a few minutes at those 3 periods in the day, then yes, by all means pick up a copy. Please do see it through the full 10 months and let me know how you get on. And if you are someone that has actually read this book properly, or maybe even just picked it up and not read it, please let me know. I want to hear about more people that have attempted reading this book. or have read it properly. I would love to hear your stories. So until next week, please do remember to subscribe, share this information, give it a thumbs up, all of the usual paraphernalia which help bring these messages out to a wider audience. Do please comment, and until next week, pick yourself up a copy of this book if it entices you. But even more importantly, remember to stay strong, stay super. Bye bye.